Hello, welcome to this week's result show. So this time we're bringing you the last 3 weeks' results as we've had some inclement weather, so as I'm sure many of you will be aware. So we're starting with Tuesday the 16th of December, which was a very rainy day, so there was no golf. So our first day's golf was on Wednesday the 17th of September, and the Wednesday Golf Society played a Texas Scramble, red, white and blue tees. The team in first place with 61.8 points, Steve Cronk, Craig Haining and Dave Freer. In second place with 62.5, Bob Lawrenson, Bernie McCluskey, Ian Butters and Luke Sharp. And in third place with 63.7, John Leyland, Dennis Jones and Terry Colvin. The next game was on Friday. The Friday Friendly Golf Society played an individual Stableford plus a Pink Lady. Just a 9-hole game. In first place with 21 points, Susan Lyons. Second place with 18 points, Bernie Langley. And in third place, on countback, also with 18 points, Pat Oakes. Clubhouse Golf Society, on Saturday the 20th, they played an individual Stableford, again from red, white and blue tees. In first place with 38 points, Alan Hebblethwaite. In second place with 37 points, Martin Geary. In third place with 35, Jimmy Butt. And in fourth place, also with 35 on countback, Glenn Elliott. And another score, also 35 points. In fifth place, Gordon Nielsen. So Cat's Bar didn't have a game and Sunshine didn't have a game. So the next game, actually, sorry, no, Sunshine did have a game. Sunday the 21st, they played a high-low, which is the highest and lowest scores to count. The team in first place with 76 points, Dennis Jones, Ron Porter, Joe Bennett and Neil Smith. And in second place with 74 points, Ray Lyons, Alison Vasey, Mark Palmer and Gary Davis. Nearest the pins on hole 3, Ian Butters. Hole 5, Paco Belchi. Hole 11, Alison Vasey. Hole 13, Mark Palmer. Hole 8 in 2, also Mark Palmer. And hole 9 in 3, Ron Porter. Las Gaviotas managed a game on Tuesday the 23rd. They played sixers, which is a waltz 1-2-3, followed by a 2 from 4, and then Pinehurst with 2 to score. The team in first place with 74 points, Mary Armitage, Mags Ray, Maura Parsons and Susan Lyons. Nearest the pin on hole 3, Irene Langley, and nearest the pin, hole 13, Mags Ray. OK, Sprightly Golf Society. Tuesday the 23rd, they played a throw and a mulligan, always a popular format. In first place, 185 points, Harry Pearson, Keith Humphrey, Ray Lyons and Bob Evans. In second place with 175 points, Dave Spooner, Mark Hebblethwaite, Spencer Truman and Alan Hebblethwaite. And in third place with 168 points, Glenn Trigg, Dave Dalgarno, Ernie Milford and Dave Bennett. Nearest the pin on hole 3, Spencer Truman. On hole 5, Camille Vertonghen. Hole 13, Glenn Trigg. And hole 8 in 2, Martin Wilkins. Wednesday Golf Association played a 2 from 4. In first place with 87 points, Norman Morgan, Luke Sharp, Martin Lewis and Dave Freer. And in second place with 85 points, Bob Lawrenson, Ian Butters, Bill Donald and John Leyland. And there was just one twos winner, Norman Morgan. Well done, Norman. OK, the next game was, well, the next day was Christmas Day, so there was no golf going on then. Saturday, the 27th of December, the Clubhouse Golf Society played a Pinehurst, 2 to score on par 5s, 3 to score on par 4s and all to score on par 3s. In first place with 127, Gordon Nielsen, Ernie Milford, Thomas McQuilter and Steve Carter. In second place with 126 points, Dave Smith, Mark Hebby, Alan Hebby and Pete Constable. Nearest the pin on hole 3, Ian Pragnell. On hole 5, Martin Geary. Hole 11, Ian Morris. Hole 13, Steve Carter. Hole 9 in 2, Glenn Trigg. And nearest the ditch on hole 2, Steve Carter. OK, so the next playable game was on Boxing Day. And we had a Boxing Day Texas Scramble, which was well received, well attended. So thanks everybody who took part in that. I hope you enjoyed the day. Not surprisingly, the team in first place with net 58, Martin Geary, Brett Wilcox, Ian Morris and Glenn Trigg. In second place with 60, Rob Greatley, Colin Reid, Gary Lovejoy and Paco Belchi. In third place, also with 60, Bill Donald, Camille Vertonghen, John Leyland and Ray Lyons. In fourth place with 62, Kieran McGibney, Norman Morgan, Dave Hackett and Steve Cronk. In fifth place, also with 62, Alistair Ray, Mags Ray, Eddie Murphy and Jen Liddle. And in sixth place, and there is a reason for announcing this, with 63, John Spence, Hayley Barker, Rab Young and Lee Freer. Nearest the pins, on hole 3, Toby Fern. On hole 5, Thomas McQuilter. Hole 11, Dave Spooner. And hole 13, Gary Davis. OK, so then we move on to Tuesday, the 30th of December. Sprightly Golf Society played a reverse waltz. In first place with 87 points, Dave Spooner, Martin Wilkins, Keith Humphrey and Mark Hebby. Second place with 86 points, Ian Morris, Glenn Trigg, Brian Arnold and Gary Davis. And in third place with 80 points, Steve Carter, Dave Bennett, Ray Lyons and Ian Pragnell. Nearest the pin on hole 3, Ian Morris. On hole 5, Ray Lyons. Hole 11, Ian Morris. And hole 13, Spencer Truman. And nearest the pin into on hole 8, Martin Geary. OK, so we move on to Clubhouse Golf Society. Again, on Saturday, the 3rd of January, they played a Texas Scramble. In first place with 58.1, Glenn Trigg, Dave Delgado, Ian Morris and Chris Bye. And in second place with 59.9, Dave Spooner, Thomas McQuilter, Alison Vasey and Bill Donald. Nearest the pin on hole 3, Ian Morris. On hole 5, Alan Hebby. Hole 11, Ernie Milford. Hole 13, Jimmy Butt. And hole 4, Alan Hebby. And finally, Cat Spa played a Texas Scramble Saturday, the 3rd of January. In first place with 61.6, Kieran McGibney, Dave Hackett, Steve Adams and John Leyland. And in second place with 62.2, Steve Cronk, Marius Bruisers, Sam Bruisers and Luke Sharp. Nearest the pin on hole 3, Colin Jordan, and hole 13, Steve Adams. And there was just 1-2 from Steve Adams. Well done, Stella. OK, so that's your results from the last few weeks. So with me today in the studio is Alan Hebblethwaite. And Alan is going to be taking over as the captain of Campersol Golf Club within the next few days. So I just thought it'd be nice to introduce him to everybody and have a chat about him and his life and his plans for the next 12 months. So welcome, Hebby.
Good afternoon.
OK, I will refer you to you now as Hebby because I think everybody kind of knows of you as Hebby, or they've heard you or of you.
It's damn sight easier than Hebblethwaite.
It's a lot easier than Hebblethwaite. I've tried that a few times, but I struggle with it a little bit. So let's just stick with Hebby.
Okay.
OK, so before we get on to your plans for Campersol for the next year, a little bit about you and about how long you've been in Spain, how you ended up in Campersol, etc. So, yeah, just tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's, I bought a piece. I was a printer in the UK. I used to print Yellow Pages, and that was 24/7. We used to run that. And 25 years ago, I come looking for a holiday home more on the coast, Torrevieja and Elche Way, but ended up meeting an inland estate agent and bought a piece of land, which my wife was most put out by. Of course, it was never in the equation. And that was 25 years ago. It took me, my dad and my brother just over 2 years to build it, flying out 1 week a month or when we had no work on. Built it, started coming out here holidaying and liked it more than living in the UK.
Yeah.
So it was just a natural progression. Me, my wife and 2 children moved out just 20 years ago in April.
Yeah. So you've been out a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, time flies,
Yeah.
you know, as we all do.
Yeah. And you learnt the language whilst you were here, obviously.
Well, because we were in a Spanish village, just on the outskirts of it, we had to get involved in the village itself just to be accepted. And one of the bars when we were building the house come up for rent when we moved out here, so we took that on to learn the language and get involved with the local people. And for 5 years, for 15 years, we had the bar for 5 years. For 15 years, we lived in the village. We had a great time. Definitely not easy living in the Spanish village.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Took quite a while to be accepted, and I go back occasionally now then see a couple of Spanish friends, and I'm just still now called the big Englishman. Oh, yeah. Nobody knows my name.
Yeah, can't imagine why. They probably can't pronounce it.
No, well, after 15 years, still nobody knows my name. So, yeah, that was our move to Spain. When I left the UK, the golf clubs were one of the last things I packed, so they were safe. Obviously, the first thing I unpacked out here, and then once we got into the finishing the house off and running the bar, they never saw light of day for 10 years.
Right.
They just stayed in the shed.
Yeah. Because obviously everything else just took precedence.
We had two young daughters at 12 and 13, and the pressures they were under at school, running a bar, learning the language, working, finishing, building the house, and all the little things. So they never saw light of day again. And of course, the kids used to just have more and more animals. There was 3 horses, 6 dogs, and God knows how many geese and chicken at one time round. So it was quite full on for the first 10 years. They grew up, moved on. One of the lads I had in the village, an English lad, Steve Carter, started to come down to Campbell to play a game of golf. I started coming down with him 1 day a week. Then it was join the Tuesday group, then join the Thursday group.
Right, so that's how you ended up getting involved in Cambersol. So it was like somebody who was in the village who kind of because it's quite how far is it?
45 minutes. Drive away. So yeah, we started coming down for a game of golf every now and then. Then before I knew it, I was playing 3 times a week. With different societies. Obviously, my wife didn't think it was great because...
I was just about to say, that obviously did probably go down too well.
Well, no, I mean, she didn't... my wife was still working. She was caring on, doing living care on the coast. But then she cut her hours down. But then on a Thursday, some of the wives come up to the golf club after the golf. So my wife started coming down. She'd drop me off at golf, go down to the beach. She'd have 3 or 4 hours down there, come back up, meet the wives, and... then that was on a Tuesday. So it kind of went from there. And it was just a throwaway question one day. She said, would you fancy moving to Campersol? Not something really considered, but we said, well, let's have a look round and see where we go from there. We met Dawn from To Let Sell to Buy, who showed us a couple of houses. And on the second viewing, took my wife to one side and offered her a job.
Oh, wow. So, but it just happens like that
just
over here,
out of the blue,
Yeah.
not planned. This was on a, whatever, it was a Spanish bank holiday, it was a Monday, and Dawn had opened up just to show us this house again, and asked Sandra, told me about it later on. I said, well, it's not really feasible at the moment. You're driving down here 5 times a week to work. So she got in touch with Dawn and said, not really, because where we live, it's too much travelling. So this was all on the Monday. And on the Wednesday, Dawn phoned up and said, oh, I've rented you a house. So we moved on Friday and never moved back.
Yeah, fantastic. I love stories like that. It's just meant to be, isn't it?
Yeah. The people who bought our house in the village wanted everything, so we just went back one day and took our clothes, photos off wall, and dog.
Packed up and moved.
Yeah, we just moved in a car.
And here you are.
Yeah, and that's just now, it was 5 years in November.
Yeah.
We finished... we completed in the February on the house, and I've spent the last 2 years devaluing it, knocking it down and rebuilding it to a stage now where we're quite comfortable. So my wife works part-time now there. I just do as I please, really.
Yeah.
That's why I've got more and more involved
in the golf. Yeah, so moving on to that, obviously, you played golf in the UK. You mentioned that you played, and then your golf clubs went into storage for 10 years, and then they came out again once you were here properly. So, yeah, you've kind of thrown yourself into the golfing community since
like
you've been
anything.
here full time.
When I used to play rugby back in the UK, and I'm a all or nothing kind of person. That I was playing at the rugby club. I ended up being the chairman of the rugby side of the club, where we had 10 junior teams and 3 adult teams. So, I think that's 350 kids and all them parents and 60 blokes moaning at you every week because something wasn't quite right. But it's one of those things, I'm either in or I'm not in. So if I'm in, we're all in. So I started marshalling the golf club. So I was kind of quite involved with that. I like that. I like meeting people and like being out on course. and it's kind of just progressed.
It's a natural progression, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously, you know, when I took over as captain, and then you kind of came involved from there, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, and sort of came onto the committee, and then
I started running Saturday side. One of the old lads there passed away, Tony Bucket, God bless him.
Yeah.
So I stepped in there to run the Saturday society group, and of course you meet different people. You meet committee people who are doing things, and you think, oh well, I could help out with that. I'd like to be involved in that.
Yeah.
So that's when I approached you to join the committee. Is that 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, just short of 2 years ago. Yeah. And I say I like meeting people. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
I like to get involved in things. If I'm in it, I'm in it.
You're in it properly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
And
no half
once you're in
measures.
it, you start to kind of see things, and you can see where you can make a difference.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, isn't it? So,
Hey, everyone's got different ideas, and you think, oh well, I don't mind spending a couple of hours of my own time doing that, or driving that forward, or be like you've done with captaincy. I mean, you took an extended period because unprecedented. You've been captain for 2 years, which is not kind of heard of, because people have normally had enough after 1 year of the abuse and things like that. So it's good that you always need every sporting society needs people who are going to work for free and drive things forward. Otherwise, you don't go anywhere with it.
Yeah. So you have been my vice captain now for 12 months. Yeah, and sort of getting yourself ready.
Yes, boss.
For the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So which is fantastic. So I've obviously had my committee. I'm now handing over to you. You're introducing a couple more members onto the committee.
We're very lucky that the committee that you formed, they're all willing to stay on, and just to spread the workload. And we've got some other ideas that we're bouncing about. So Martin Geary and Spencer Truman have come on the committee. Martin plays in 3 different societies, so he's got a good representation of people's views and what they're not happy about, or things like that. And obviously you had Spencer on a couple of weeks ago. He's the head marshal, so he knows what's going on the course and all the different things there. So hopefully we've got every basis covered, so we can still drive the club forward with how we want to run it.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think there's a real good mix there. With all the people that are now on the committee, you've got representation there for pretty much everybody. And I'll obviously stay on as...
And I'm really glad to say that Ailey's staying on as my secretary.
Yeah, because you need a secretary.
Oh, definitely need a secretary.
So I think that's fantastic. So, like, moving forward for the next 12 months, can you share with us any plans that you've got, any ideas that you'd like to implement?
There's little things around the course that I will talk to Paco about, which low maintenance, but just help people speed the game up a little bit. We're going to change how we run a couple of the monthly competitions. Obviously, the Club de Golf. We're going to kind of introduce where people can pick their own 4 balls a couple of times a year, so you can play with your mates or whatever. And we'll also introduce where the highest and lowest handicappers go out. So the lower handicappers are not intimidated, and the higher handicappers can play hopefully a faster game, and just a little bit different, just to freshen it up a little bit.
And that's just taking on board feedback, I guess, from people that you talk to and other committee members talk to. Because we do actually listen to what people say and the feedback, and that's what the committee members are there for. To listen to people's feedback, bring it back to the committee, so we can just try and make changes so that it just changes the format occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, we can't, been captain for 2 years, we have no real control over the golf course itself and things that happen on it. This is obviously run by Paco, and that's how it is. But we're just we're just trying to freshen it up and keep it fun. Obviously, carrying on with past captains with charity days. My 3 charities this year will be Forget-Me-Nots, MABS and FAST, which they will have their special day throughout the year, which we hope people get by and support. I'm looking to do something with Help the Aged as well, just to bring them on board, just all we're doing is looking after the people who support us on Campusol. They're all Campusol-based charities, and it's nice that we can give something back to them and keep them going, because we're all going to need fast at some point, and
that's the thing. The charities that we support, that not just the golf course, but everybody supports charities. You know, they're all charities that we all need, and we'll all, you know, be grateful for at some point in our lives.
Hopefully, we're going to need help the aged, and we don't need fast so much, but at least we know they're there.
There is that.
So.
What about any fun competitions? Because I know in the past we've done a couple like golfer, non-golfer, and things like that.
Yeah, we've got a couple of things. What we're throwing about, obviously, when I take over the new committee, I've got a couple of things I want the committee to get involved in. We're going to push again the golfer, non-golfer, which is always a great fun. Maybe not great golf, but it's
good fun.
It's great fun, and some of the non-players, especially like wives, realise it's not all fun playing golf.
It's
quite
not
hard.
fun. They realise how hard it is out there.
They think it's all just sitting in the bar and having a drink afterwards. Don't realise you've got to slug round 9 holes to do that. And we're also talking maybe having a club a Campusol open. So trying to invite people from different courses around the Merthyr region to come and play. You know, Campusol's quite an unknown course for a lot of the Spanish. So we've got a few Spanish playing in the competitions now. So just trying to encourage things like that, just to get the name out there and have fun and enjoy the golf. We had great success this year with the Heineken Cup that come to Campusol. Everybody who played in it really enjoyed it. It's just nice to play with people you've never played with before. You make some great friends.
And that was well supported by the Spanish as well, wasn't it? You know, and you mentioned about the Spanish with the Open. It'd be really good, because I've noticed an increase in Spanish people playing Campusol, because you kind of get used to it just being English people. So it's great that the Spanish are getting involved. And if the Open will bring more Spanish people in, then
I met a couple of lads on a federation day who now come to Campusol and play. Just talking to them. You know, obviously not everyone speaks enough Spanish, and a lot of Spanish don't speak enough English, but everybody knows good shot, good putt, and to look away and discuss when it goes wrong. And that's all you need on a golf course, really. Good friends.
Okay. Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice introduction.
Yeah, well, let's see how we go.
And so if people want to get in touch with you, I guess, well, they just use the existing contact details for now.
You can always leave a message in the shop or the club website.
Yeah, so we've got the golf club Facebook page. Talk to the golf shop if you want to leave any messages for Hebby, get in touch, whatever. We've also got the email address, which probably most people know. But you have now got access to that, so you can talk to people, respond to any questions, or because I'll be handing that over to you. So
run with it, pick it up and run.
Okay, no, it's going to be a fun year. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a fun year, and I'd just like to finish saying, any kind of sport in society, it's like being in a dinghy. If we all row together, we'll go forward. And it takes a couple of people to be rowing the wrong way, and we're going round in circles. So the idea is paddle forward.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know where I got it from.
I'll use that one. All right, thanks, Hebby.
Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you for coming in.
And thank you for being captain.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's it from me and Hebby. I hope that was interesting for you, and we'll look forward to see what Hebby's going to bring for 2026. Okay, thanks for joining us. Bye for now.